Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Raw. This might be a bit of a shorter video. Unfortunately, there's several things that's been going on in the last couple of days that's going to be needing my attention. I don't know if I'll be doing my TNA review. I'm going to try to do it by at least Thursday or Friday, so expect it to be late. A little more than normal. I'm not exactly sure when it'll be done, hopefully this Friday or at least Thursday. But let's not worry about that. Let's go to this show, and I'll say this. The WWE is trying very hard to change up their work. So seeing that Chris Jericho opened the show wasn't bad, but seeing Big Cass be with him was actually quite good. Since he can't work with Enzo Amore, they're trying to give him something to do until Enzo comes back. But this also is a good chance for Big Cass to get some exposure and to get some working on his mic skills. Because let's be honest, Enzo was the one who spoke for Cass. There's no way that Cass spoke generally on his own. And this is a good chance for him to be seen. Now I'll elaborate at the end of this review how I felt about the final segment of the show. But let's move on to what happened in the... Seeing that Cara had a match with Rusev and then won that match against Rusev, doesn't that kind of mean Cara should now get into a triple threat with Rusev and Kalisto? Of course Kalisto helped him, but still, kind of two things came from this. Let's be honest here. Two things came from this match. One, Kalisto had to help his friend Cheat to win. Now that's happened with Mexican wrestlers over the years. We can't say anything more than that. But the thing is that you want something more with Kalisto. Kalisto's supposed to be the good guy in this, but he cheated to help his friend win. So that kind of makes you think this isn't really helping Kalisto a lot. Particularly, this isn't a real feud. The only person I can see giving Kalisto a decent feud, which is questionable, is Sin Cara himself. So this could be setting up a Sin Cara to Kalisto feud after Extreme Rules. Because that's what I think this might be going. That Sin Cara and Hunico may have a feud eventually. I'm not sure if it will happen, but it looks like it may be going there. Now, here comes the IC Championship. First, you have The Miz. Then you're going to have Cesaro. Then you're going to have Kevin Owens. Then Sami Zayn injected himself into it where he won his match against The Miz. And then you're having Zack Ryder going up against Kevin Owens. Now the problem with that with Zack Ryder genuinely deserves to have a one-on-one with somebody to get his IC Championship back. Because as much as a lot of people believe that Zack Ryder doesn't have a lot of ability in the ring, he won the people over anyway. And I do believe Zack Ryder has some decent ability in the ring. But he should have his own title feud. He should have another one. And it should be without him losing before it happens. Because seeing him lose to Kevin Owens was not what I believe was the wisest thing to do. Really, I don't believe is wise. And then, I'm not going to do any images of it. I saw New Day versus the Dudleys. It was okay. I did enjoy that the Vaudevillains came out and destroyed New Day. So at least they're giving them something to do. Now here's something that just, I don't get it. You have because I'm already agitated as I'm not trying to give too much about my own life, ladies and gentlemen. This is not why you're here. But I have enough stress as it is. I have certain things that must be done, and because I do have depression, I get anxiety a lot easier than a normal person would. If you've been through depression, you know this. You get anxiety easier. You get frustrated easier, and it really gets on your nerves. So I'm already dealing with this. But then I see this situation with Charlotte, with Natalya, and then you throw Paige into it. It gets me angry. I'm alright seeing that the Nate went with Charlotte to try and get Shane McMahon to overturn Stephanie's decision, and he stuck with his guns. Cool. I'm alright with that. But the problem is this. This is all we got for the women. We get a Paige dealing with a Charlotte. And now Paige won her match against Charlotte. Doesn't that mean that means there's going to be a triple threat, even though they probably won't sponsor that? What is going on with the women's division? We're supposed to be a renaissancing women's division here. We're supposed to have a women's division revolution. And I see it worse now. You had more with the divas than you would have with the women. Look, how many matches did we get today? One. I didn't see 2 matches. Or maybe a segment with the women in the back, which would make 3 appearances from the women. Nothing. We only had Natalya, Charlotte, and Paige. We didn't get anything from what happened with Emma and what happened with Emma and what happened with Becky Lynch. Now I know they did a video segment. I don't remember. I believe it was this week they did a video segment. But that's it. I'm sure they did a video segment. I'm not going to put the image up. But you guys tell me below, how much have we seen of the women since they changed over the title from WrestleMania? It's been steadily going from here where we saw a lot of matches from the women. Yeah, they weren't very great matches because there's no feuds. Quality matches, most of them, yes. But feuds, almost nothing. Except for the major feud and maybe one minor feud. We barely saw anything else except for maybe some backstage segments. Now they're gone, I'm going like this. They gone, we only have 1 match. And maybe, and I believe I'm right, just one backstage segment with Becky Lynch, with Emma and her partner. I can't remember that woman's name. She's also from NXT. That's it. What happened to... Calm yourself. What happened to Team Bad? What happened... I have to say this. What happened to Summer Rae? We got to say even Summer Rae under the situation. You're not going to be doing anything with Lana because she's back with Rusev. So we don't see a Sasha Banks. We don't see an Emma except with a Becky Lynch and a partner. And that was only a backstage segment. That's it. We don't see a second match. We don't see a Tamina. We don't see a Naomi. And we don't see a Sasha Banks except for a segment of freaking Pizza Hut. And I'm sure going to put that in the image. Or unless I'm going to put it on a big screen in my freaking face because I'm angry. I'm freaking angry. We went from the Divas Revolution, which wasn't that good, but at least the women got some spotlight, even though it was bullshit, to now nothing. You're only focusing on one feud, and not that well either of a feud, because essentially, if he couldn't handle it, I understand about Bret Hart. If he's still recovering from his cancer and the radiation and chemotherapy, and he can't really do the traveling, I understand that. I can't blame the guy. But he couldn't do a segment on the Titantron. Have some predetermined videos done ahead of time. We needed more, and we don't got it. And this is where I just feel like the women's revolution is sucking right now, and it's angering me. Oh, I found out from Deluxe Man that several people have been let go, and one of them is Damian Sandow. I hope he's picked up by Lucha Wrestling, or, and this is, I know this isn't great, send him to TNA. As weak as TNA is, it's still considered strong enough to be recognized. He needs exposure with other people. If it's not going to be Lucha Underground, I don't want him to go to ROH. And I don't know if he's going to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling. If he does, maybe he'll get a lot of spotlighting there, and then he can come back like a Luke Gallows did. So either he's going to go either to Lucha Wrestling, to TNA, or to New Japan Pro Wrestling. The best option would either be New Japan Pro Wrestling or TNA for at least a short stint to expose the TNA fans to him. So in the end, we could have him come back and be more recognized. That's what we got. The 6-man tag with the club, they couldn't even, I guess maybe New Japan Pro Wrestling has the copywriting of the Bullet Club, so I don't think that WWE could actually use it. But if they could, I think they did a stupid thing, because I think the Bullet Club would sound a lot better than just a club. But I don't know how the copyright laws are. There's a good possibility they just can't use the Bullet Club brand. Unless they made a deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I don't think they would make it. So I understand it. The match itself, I have a problem with it. Now, was the match quality bad? No. Did I enjoy seeing AJ Styles and Roman Reigns together fighting one another? It wasn't bad. But here's the problem. Before Extreme Rules, I really feel like they should not touch too much. And even though the crowd that they were in front of, really, I can't remember what the crowd, I'm not saying the crowd, where the crowd was. I'm sorry, I got a lot on my mind. But I liked the crowd. They were very enthusiastic throughout most of the night. But I really feel like that AJ Styles and Roman Reigns are touching too much. This is not helping AJ Styles touching Roman Reigns so much. It would be better if they were separate and there was interaction in between the other groups between them. In other words, the Usos fucking up AJ Styles in a match. And Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson fucking up Roman Reigns. I think that would be better, having them both at near the stage, going to the back, would be better, at least for about one segment, instead of them actually fighting one another, because I think they've overexposed one another. That's just me. You guys tell me below. And a final thing I'm going to talk about. The so-called match that was, well, not so-called match, the match that was supposed to happen at the end of the show with Big Cass and Chris Jericho. I was surprised this ended the show, because I would have thought the 6-man tag would. So that was a nice change-up. So in the end, Chris gets his ass kicked, and how much would it actually cost to get a leather jacket altered that way? Well, it wouldn't be $50. That's the cleaner jacket in New York. No, $55. In most parts of New York, you can actually have a leather jacket laundered and given a coat of black paint, kind of, to try and take away the crack look. And it would also get soaked in gasoline to try and fix the jacket and make it clean. To actually get it modified, I think will cost about $300 to $400. Because they got to modify it, they got to cut it open, they got to sew in the lights, and sew in the circuit board and a place for the battery. So I take about maybe $300 to $500 if you're going to have some good lights with some good stencils on it and make it look really cool. About $300 to $500. I doubt it's going to be cheaper than that. $15,000 for that shit. That got me. That made me laugh like an ass. I hear him scream that shit. Seeing that this was done, the jacket was ripped up, and eye for eye was okay. Because there had to be a consequence with these guys. As I said before, there was no consequence. You could have had, at Payback, the Dean Ambrose Asylum versus the highlight reel. I'm botching, I'm sorry. The highlight reel. One of the shows could be dropped and one of the shows could be kept. I think that would have been a better dynamic, but we didn't get that. Now, supposedly, the potted plant of the lunatic idiot has been destroyed, so the leather jacket of the pretty boy who fancies himself a Adonis has been destroyed. So now they have a reason to hate one another even more. But is this good television? I don't know. Because if this is all they got going into Extreme Rules, as much as a lot of people like it, it's not that great. Shouldn't be focusing on Roman Reigns and on AJ Styles, because this is about the championship title. But that didn't close the show. So as much as it's a nicer change-up, that is a nice change-up, I don't know. This just doesn't feel like this is a very strong pay-per-view. And along with the stress I'm going through, it kind of makes it harder to be really hyped for this. I'm not saying it's bad. Taking away from what's going on with the women's title, which is bullshit. There's no Naomi. There's no Tamina. There's no Sasha Banks. We just barely got seeing Emma, and we barely got to see Becky and her partner. I don't know her name right now. You don't see any other women. I want to see Nyla Jenks on there, dude. Nyla. I want to see that big-ass Samoan woman totally destroy the women's division like Karma should have. But this is just my point of view. You guys tell me below. I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. As I said in the beginning of this video, I don't know when I'm going to do my TNA review. Either be Thursday or Friday. I really got a lot going on, and my stress level is actually higher than normal. My depression's kind of taken over because of bills that I got to take care of and some other situation, and it's freaking me out a little bit. And when I'm like this, it's very hard to focus and concentrate, and I get depressed. So I'm really trying hard to try and counteract that. So I hope you don't mind this stuff being a bit late. So you guys have a good day and enjoy the content that any other YouTuber who does wrestling. Have a good day and have a good night.